We're live. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. I really appreciate you spending the time with me today. We're actually going to be talking about secrets on why it's the right time to downsize. My name is Kelly Mio-Bertolo. I'm a mortgage broker. Basically what I do is I help you through the mortgage process. I have about 60 some odd lenders that I work with, so you always get an unbiased opinion and the right product with the right lender. Let's just get right into it. Just the agenda. This is only going to take about 10-15 minutes to go through the PowerPoint. You can stop me at any time, ask me any questions, and at the end we can also have question and answer. Okay? Did you want to say it?
Yeah, I'd love to say something if she allows me. However, she's the boss. She does all the magic. So until she doesn't get the pre-approval, I can't do my magic. I'm Tanya Fernandez and I'm the owner broker at Forest Hill Keystone here in Milton. And thank you all for coming. And let's see, Kelly, what you got.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. As you probably know, and you've heard a lot on the news, right now we're really into a shifting market. We've had a solid 2 years of soaring house prices. We've had record inventory levels. Obviously, we went through COVID, a really different market than it is today. The market's actually, we've got signs that the market is truly cooling off. There is, and you've also heard this in the news all the time, rising interest rates. I get questions about this all the time. Inflation's going up. And first-time home buyers are really struggling. So for a first-time home buyer today, unless you make a little more than average, it's going to be really difficult for you to qualify. The reality to that though is, if you're a current homeowner, it's almost shifting into your direction. So the first-time home buyers seem to be moving out of the market and parking for a period of time. They'll be back, but they're going to be moving out. And that opens up inventory for anybody who owns a home and is still currently looking. So there's huge advantages for downsizing today. Just more options for those that are still searching. You're truly in a far better situation than you were a couple months ago. Agree, Tanya?
I agree. But I'll debate you on some of that shortly.
Will you?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Just to talk about downsizing, because I hear about this all the time, the reasons for downsizing, why are people downsizing? A lot of them are to pay off their mortgages or debt. Our inflation's extremely high, groceries are high, everything's really expensive today. So people are looking at the fact that they're in these big 4-bedroom homes, their kids are gone, and do they necessarily need these homes today? So they're looking at that. They really want to save money, once again, because of inflation, so on bills. They want to free up the equity and get more money. It sounds like it's all about money, just for retirement. It's just time to not have such a big home to take care of. Moving to another province or city, moving to a place maybe with health care, moving closer to loved ones, and our snowbirds. Our snowbirds spend a lot of time of the year in Florida or wherever they're going, and they just don't need these big homes to come back to or to actually maintain. So that's a lot of reasons why Canadians are thinking about downsizing today. And this is the whole, when we get into secrets, this is the whole thing. One of the things is the shifting market, where we have less first-time home buyers in the market today. And the other thing is, it costs a lot less to purchase a house. Purchase prices are down, and if purchase prices are down, you need a lower down payment. So that's a huge advantage. Saving on mortgage insurance, if you're putting in mortgage, if you're putting less than 20% down, then you will save on mortgage insurance. Lower commissions and GST, of course, that's always important. And lower land transfer taxes. So these are huge numbers that you have to pay out. And we have a nice little case study that kind of proves our point of everything that we were talking about. So we are looking at, I would consider, is this a starter home? The $1 million, yeah. So it looks like this case study is like a starter home. In Q1, they would have got $1 million for this property, and today, approximately $750,000. That's a $250,000 drop, and once again, everything's relevant. Interest rates back then were 2.5, today 5.2, it's even actually a little higher, but just to give you an example, the down payment, so the required down payment for the $1 million is a minimum of $200,000 that you gotta come up with. Today, at the same property, you'd only require $150,000. So that's significant. I mean, try and save $50,000. I mean, it takes forever to save that kind of money. So there's huge value in that. But in the end, although interest rates are significantly higher, you're not paying that much more on a monthly basis for your mortgage. Because if you look at Q1 example, your mortgage would be $800,000 that you're dealing with. And if you look at Q2 example, your mortgage would be $600,000. So it's approximately $100 more per month. So the cost really isn't significant. And then if you look at closing costs, look at all the money you're throwing away in closing costs that you would have done in Q1 at $21,000 and in Q3 at $16,000. So there's quite a significant savings to downsize now. Just add whatever. Once again, we've been talking a lot, and all we hear about is on the news is truly about inflation and whether we're going to go into a recession or not. Our economists are talking about the reality is we are. Hopefully it'll be a short-term recession, but it sounds like it's, well, who knows? It sounds like it's possibly going to happen the beginning of 2023. And so people really want to downsize because they want to invest the equity that they get out of their property. So if you're selling a property worth $2 million and you're walking away with 1.5 or whatever, you can invest that to help with retirement, just help living life. I think when we went through COVID, everybody thought again about life and how important it should be and what you should be doing. And 4 walls isn't necessarily what you care about as much. It's the proper property for you. And once again, if you get a smaller property, you save money on bills. So your water's cheaper, your heating's cheaper, your taxes are cheaper, your home insurance are cheaper, and repairs are generally cheaper on smaller homes. So once again, opening up cash flow. It'll allow you to pay off those mortgages. So what you're paying on a monthly basis, if you're paying $2,000 and then you have credit card debt, by downsizing, it'll allow you to pay off that. Not everybody is in that particular situation, so if you do have a mortgage still, you can carry it over to the new property, but the likelihood it'll be a smaller mortgage, or we can refinance it, and all of your other bills are going to be lower, so therefore we can, you'll have more cash flow at the end of the day. Talked a lot. Anybody have any questions so far?
Questions coming up.
Excellent. Tax advantages of downsizing. So in this particular scenario, we're assuming that the property that you're downsizing from is your principal residence. If you're selling your principal residence, you have a principal resident exemption. And what that means is the gain that you get from your principal residence is not taxed. So the money gain that you've made out of equity, that is not taxed. And that's huge. There's not a lot that is not taxed today. So once you sell it, all of that money can be reinvested. I mean, even I have some downsizers that want to buy another property. So as opposed to one, they have another property and they supplement their income through rental of the other property. Now you have to be of that type of mind, but there's all kinds of ways, or just supplementing your retirement investments. So it's huge to downsize that way, and it's actually a great estate planning thing that you might want to talk to your accountant about. Once again, we talked a lot about rates, and I think probably everybody you talk about, even if you don't like mortgages, are asking about rates today. Rates are going up. They're probably going up in October, probably going to go up again in December. We feel, and once again, nobody knows for sure, but we feel from the economists that 2003 it'll stable, and then in 2023, and then in 2024, it'll start going back down. So we're in a very short-term pain. So it's extremely rare would I make any recommendation to anybody out there to take a 5-year fixed. I think that's bad advice at this point in time. Nobody has a crystal ball, nobody knows for sure what's gonna go on. But we always advise for a variable or a short term. Okay, so those are the two things that you do. A short term, I would go max 2 years. And then what we can do is lock you in if you feel comfortable with that as soon as rates start going down, or after the 2 years we can renegotiate and get you the best mortgage possible. What this is a downsizing. If you're carrying a mortgage with you, don't worry too much about rate. Yes, you're getting a better product, you're paying right price for your home today, and you'll be in a high interest rate situation for, let's say, a year, max 2 years, and then you'll be back to the lower rates again. So you just have to strategize with your mortgage broker about what's best for you, but it's really short term that you're talking about this high rate scenario. Of course, not everybody is comfortable or wants to downsize immediately. I was talking before the meeting, I think you were talking about your father, and there's no way he'd downsize at this point in time. There is options. If things are getting unaffordable, you do have equity within your home, and there's options to get that equity out. Generally, this is a bridge between downsizing, but some people just don't want to move out of their homes, and you know what, they shouldn't if they don't have to. And so there's a couple options. A home equity line of credit, which is short form for a HELOC, is interest only. I'd recommend everybody who owns a property has a home equity line of credit, especially at high earnings. So get it, keep it, don't use it, don't care, but hold on to it, because I always get the people who can't get them when they need them. So if they had them in the past, it never changes. So if you're at your top of your earnings and you have a home equity line of credit and then you retire, that home equity line of credit follows you. So they don't care whether you retire as long as you're paying your bills and everything. So I highly recommend that you pick it up regardless. But for people that don't quite want to downsize yet, they can take out a home equity line of credit. We can also, for retirees, use pension income, CPP, OAS, so we can still use it. So it's not impossible, but you'll get a smaller home equity line of credit. But that'll be interest only, so your payments will be interest only. And quite frankly, you can carry on with interest only for quite a long time. The other option is reverse mortgages. In Canada, reverse mortgages are getting more and more popular. Every year, the amount that goes into reverse mortgages is increasing significantly. I've done several reverse mortgages. It's got to be for the right people. There has to be a discussion, and generally I have a discussion with their whole family, not just the people that are doing the reverse mortgages, but it's a great option. There's a lot of money sitting there, and people can't live, kids can't help support the parents live. It's a good option to help them. It's not based off of income at all. It's based off of the equity of your home, the value of your home, and your age. Generally, you have to be 55 or older. So don't shy away from reverse mortgages. There's all kinds of other ways they can be used. If you are going to downsize, you can even use a reverse mortgage quickly to upgrade the property and then downsize. So there's all kinds of ways that you can strategize and use a reverse mortgage. So those are just a few options. There's several, but at least that gets you an idea of certain options. Am I talking too fast?
You're on point, Kelly.
So, I mean, everything that we've talked about, if you're a homeowner and thinking about downsizing, you're far better position than you were a couple months ago. Absolutely, you could have got more money a couple months ago for your home, but you actually would have spent a lot more money on the property that you were purchasing. And the reality is, could you find that property a couple months ago? And now the likelihood is you have a possibility of finding that property. So that's really important. And create an action plan. Next step is contact us, and
we handle the rest.
and we'll handle the rest.
That's awesome, Kelly.
Yeah, Thank you.
That was very informative, but and we've talked multiple times, and I relay pretty much the same thing to our clients when we're talking to them as well. But the first thing that I'm told with or asked the question is, how's the market currently? Is it really slow? Right? That's the first question that I get. So, but my opinion is that it is dependent to everyone's specific situation, right?
Absolutely.
And my thought is the right time to move is when it's the right time for you.
Absolutely.
It's a lifestyle choice and it's a decision, right? So say for example, like you were saying 55 plus. Now I find a lot of families that are currently selling and probably moving away north or moving away are 55 plus, 60 plus, where the kids are off to university. They don't want to be part of that hustle bustle anymore. They want a more relaxed, eased out life, want to sell first. And I always tell them it depends on your comfort zone. Some people want to know where they want to be, so they want to find something wherever that place may be, and then decide, okay, now we'll sell. Some people are like, no, I want to know how much I'm going to get for my home before I make that transition, and I will rent in the interim. Right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, I mean, even at this stage, no matter what the mortgage rates are, depending on where you're at and where you're buying, if you're buying and selling pretty much at the same time, it's relevant and it's lateral, right? Because if you're selling high, you're probably buying high. So I think it's a decision which is dependent on your lifestyle, complemented by your finances, your family, all those other aspects in making that decision. But I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? It's pretty straightforward over here. And we put the blog together, which was pretty much based off this. And so it's definitely worth the discussion.
It definitely is, and we found, and you've probably seen, everybody's looking help wanted, but we found a lot of our population has retired early. And now they're realizing, oh my goodness, life is expensive. And so they are truly considered downsizing. So there is a lot of people out there that really want to downsize today.
Or want to explore the option of downsizing and see whether it's right for them, right? Pretty much like our first time home buyers, or even when people are making an upgrade, at least they're familiar with it. But I find a lot of people that are downsizing, may have been in their homes for a significant amount of time. So this is very, very new, right? Or it's a lot more complex, and there are a lot more frills and bells and whistles when it comes to the sale of a home, right?
Oh, for sure. And I was just talking numbers today, because from the mortgage aspect. But absolutely, it's not as simple as what I was discussing. But yes.
But that's a pretty clear snapshot of what to expect, right? So So what's the number one reason you would say today people should downsize, in your opinion? If you had to pick the top one, what should they be looking at?
I think it's inventory. I think the reality is we've lost a piece of the people that were coming in and trying to go after our entry level market. And I think you have more options. I think you can get, when you downsize, you still want to be where you want to be. There's certain things, so I think it's really important for these people not just to downsize somewhere and be unhappy. They have more choices. So I think that's one of the number one things. Number two would be all the costs involved. It's so much cheaper when you're only spending, $750,000. You just have so much more money to live life out there, from the closing costs to the cost of purchase. If you are putting down a down payment, it's just so much more money in your pockets.
And I think the big key, secret over there is that as eventually once mortgage rates come lower or adjust, I've read May 2023 also, it may be, could be, beginning of 2024. I think that's where, that relief or that sense of, not relief I may say, so because they're anyway purchasing at a better price that you would have any time earlier this year, right? But that reduction in that mortgage rate, if there is a mortgage rate for somebody, because a lot of people don't, once they sell their homes, they don't need a mortgage any longer. right? You're not happy about that, are you?
No, but then we'll just teach them how to invest the other portion of
Exactly.
the money into
Exactly. Right? Get
Into a
them
second
properties,
property.
or help our family members, or
grandchildren.
right?
You know.
Yeah. I'm sure you see a lot of people kind of helping out with their grandchildren's down payments,
Without
parents
question.
doing it,
It's-
right?
it's
To get
actually-
them into the market.
Yeah, it's actually extremely rare for first-time home buyers to bring in the money themselves today. So it's almost impossible in the GTA. It's just so much money are required. So it goes back to the home equity line of credit. If you have one, you use that. Generally, parents, grandparents are using that or downsizing, and they have some money. And they even talk about estate planning. It's much better to give the money early, where you can see the benefits of it, than once you pass away. So there's it's happening all like there's no. How can you save $200,000 while you're spending $3,000 in rent and cars? And it's very difficult. So
Yes. Any questions?
come on, Joanna.
Mine will come after an email.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Clap, people. Lauren, can you turn that off?
Is it okay?
I hope it was on. It was fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even use it.